let's introduce our special guest today. Mashallah, we are honored and humbled to have him in today's webinar. I'm so thankful that Dr. Farooq Habib carved out a time for us, and I think that's an opportunity for everybody on the webinar, including from him, inshallah. Dr. Marashi, go ahead.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, this is Dr. Mohammed Rafi, and we invite all the participants to our this informal webinar series, Sunday webinar series through Mabrook. Me, Alhamdulillah, and Fahad, brother Fahad, has been doing this week and webinar series since a month. Today, Alhamdulillah, we are honored to have Dr. Farooq Habib from Azka Advisors with us. And Alhamdulillah, this is a good opportunity for our listeners, for our participants to have more in-depth knowledge about the specialized topic. So, mashallah, Dr. Farooq Habib has Darsan Nizami and Alimiya course, and as well as a doctorate degree from INSEAD Finance.
I think we
And
lost him.
he has been part of early technology, and now he's leading his own venture that is uh, as advisor, and has been working for the tokenization world for crypto assets, digital assets in the last I think 7 to 8 years. So I welcome Dr. Farooq Habib, you, and it is a good opportunity. And thanks from Mabrook team as well that you have given your precious time to our webinar. And I would like to start this, I think, with a bit more introduction about Dr. Farooq Habib by himself regarding the tokenization part. Like, for example, what he has done in the tokenization sphere. And Dr. Sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And hello, everyone. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, Mufti Umar, for a warm introduction. And I would like to thank Mabrook and Brother Fahad Siddiqui for inviting me in this webinar. It's an honor and pleasure for me to be here and speaking with the audience. And I think that like this series is a very timely series for the people who are really interested in tokenization, crypto, blockchain, and some other enterprise solutions, and also at the same time DeFi and stable coins, etc. So coming back directly to Mufti Omar's question, that what is I have been doing in this space, particularly regarding tokenization. So Alhamdulillah, I was involved in tokenization of gold, silver, precious metals, real estate. And also I have extensively worked on tokenization of Islamic securities like Sukuk and other instruments as well, Alhamdulillah. But that Islamic financial security side is basically mainly on the blueprint and the research side. I tried to implement it twice. My first attempt was back in 2017. I tried to basically tokenize Sukuk at that time, but the concept was very, very early. So what happened is like even bonds were not tokenized at that time, because I remember that like it was a first pilot project by World Bank in Australia when they tokenized some bonds. That was the first one. So just after that, I was working on Sukuk tokenization, but then because the market was not ready and it was too early, ahead of its time, so we were not able to pull off that project. Then in 2020, I again started working with another fintech startup to not only simply tokenizing the Sukuk, but we wanted to basically have a full life cycle of an Islamic security on blockchain. meaning that not only that the security is being issued by an institution and then we tokenize it. We were trying to basically digitalizing the whole life cycle, like meaning that from the issuance until the redemption, the whole life cycle from issuance, IPO or sukuk issuance, and then primary offering, secondary market trading, and then redemption, everything will be done on the blockchain itself. So that was basically the idea where I was heavily invested in the sense that I created the blueprint. I was able to basically see that like what are the bottlenecks, and then we create. I did a very deep research on that. So yeah, these are basically some tokenization projects where I was involved, or like either whether it was a real project like gold, silver, precious metals, real estate, or a research project like Sukuk and Islamic securities tokenization.
Thank you, Doctor, for that. And I know it's not easy to do it as a first, of course. Still, Mabrook is following you and trying to do what you have been doing for a long time. But I can tell everybody in the audience that it's the way Dr. Sahab has explained, trust me, it's not so easy. You need to have that grip and command on the technology and on the Islamic finances. So I would say that I think you are one of the unique skill set in the industry which have cracked it or done it, mashallah. All right. So with that, with your permission, Dr. Farooq Sahab and Mufti Umar Sahab, I'll just start with the question. And let me tell you one thing very clearly. Today, I'm going to ask very tough questions. Okay. So I will request forgiveness and in advance. Questions will be very candid, and I believe our listener also are really looking forward to do so because I was seeing in LinkedIn there was like many people who want to basically hear. So inshallah, Bismillah. Let's start with the first question I have, which I noted down here, is that so is Bitcoin halal or haram? I need a very straight, clear answer. No circles.
So Mufti Umar Saab, do you want to go first? You are on mute. You are on mute.
I think his internet is
I
there.
think you should talk on this. We have been talking on this on through some weeks now. Now we need actually your straight answers.
Okay. So Brother Fahad, do you want a short answer first and then the long
Yes,
one, or
inshallah.
do you want
Yeah,
the
yeah,
long
please,
first?
please, whatever you feel comfortable with.
So short answer is Bitcoin is halal. And even like I would see it as if there are grades in Sharia compliancy, then the most Sharia compliant currency or money form, I would say, in the contemporary world. Of course, like there are others as well, but I mean, for example, like gold, silver are also from the Sharia perspective are money form, but the thing is like they are physical commodities and there are some practical issues and challenges with them if we want to use them as money. But if you only compare Bitcoin with contemporary fiat currencies, so I would say that like Bitcoin is cleaner than those fiat monies in that sense. So this is the short answer. And the long answer is, of course, like if you look at the whole issuance process from the Sharia perspective, then what we see is like there is no haram element in it. Like, for example, when we do mining of Bitcoin, there is no haram element there, number one. Number two is we see it as a digital asset, and which means that it's a form of mal. Mal is a very fundamental concept in Sharia and fiqh, meaning that something has to be mal before we can apply a Sharia ruling. For example, we pay zakat on mal. If we don't have mal or we don't recognize something as mal, we don't apply zakat on it. Inheritance also, wirathat, also is something which is applicable on mal itself. Halal and haram also, if you are the rulings of halal and haram also applicable on mal itself. Even like when you do a transaction, for example, I ask you, I buy book from you and I pay you in any currency, let's suppose US dollar. So it means that like both sides have to be mal. This is the basic definition of a sale contract. Mubadalatul mali bil mal, meaning that like you have an exchange of mal with mal. So if let's suppose one side there is no mal, then the sale is not valid. So what I'm trying to say, this mal concept, you will see that everywhere it plays a very fundamental role. So this has to be fixed first, that whether Bitcoin is mal or not, before anything else. And once we, so again, I will not go very much into detail, but the short answer is like I consider that like Bitcoin is a valid mal in the sense that it is a digital asset. And even Sharia does not have any problem in recognizing intangible assets. So its form as a digital or virtual asset does not implicate that it shouldn't be mal. I stop here, and then maybe like during the questions more be unfolded.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Thank you, Dr. Farsan. And Dr. Mukhtar Umar, any feedback before I goes to the next question?
I think let's go to the next question.
Yeah, inshallah. So now I'm going to talk about some framework. Uh, Folks like me who are into digital asset and crypto asset, the fundamental question arises that when when we ask you, expert, to screen a digital asset to look for Sharia compliance, what's your actual process? And what do you look at first, then second and third? Because see, I want to understand as a consumer that what my subject matter expert or fiqh look, which and I should be basically following this and looking for those components that you screen.
So if we include all types of crypto assets, now we are not talking about specifically Bitcoin, like in the first question. And now we include all types of crypto assets first, okay? And try to address it in a very general manner. So if you look at them, these are not one type of crypto assets, number one. So what we have to be clear about them is I am using a terminology, crypto assets, and inshallah, I will be keep using that because I have an emphasis on that these are assets, not currencies only, not currencies only, because cryptocurrency is a subset of crypto assets first. Okay. So for example, even if those who know accounting, for example, and you see a balance sheet, or so you can also see that like what type of assets are there. Sometimes cash, sometimes fixed assets, movable assets, and inventory, and so on and so forth. So similarly, when we talk about crypto assets, some of them are currencies, of course, like Bitcoin, but some of them are not currencies. For example, NFTs, security tokens. If you securitize a sukuk, for example, it's a crypto asset, a digital asset, but not a currency itself, right? So this is, I wanted to be clear first. Number two is what we see from a Sharia review or Sharia screening perspective first is that first we need to analyze a crypto asset from its main purpose. For example, like the main purpose has to be clear. And I have actually extensively worked on the classification of crypto assets. For example, I call it basically Sharia token classification framework. So Sharia token classification framework, what does it tell you? That, okay, whatever assets you have, first you have to categorize it accordingly, because even in Sharia, we have categorized mal into different types of categories. For example, we have hukuk, like rights. We have manafi', like usufruct or benefits. We also have ayn, which is a commodity, a physical asset, right? So we, in Sharia, even like there are so many other ways of classifying mal. For example, mal can be halal and haram. So this is another classification. And mal can be thaman, which means a medium of exchange or a mode of payment, or money, or non-money. For example, non-monetary asset, something which is not a medium of exchange. So first of all, we have to categorize crypto assets also accordingly. So I have worked on it for several years now. So alhamdulillah, I was able to come up with this framework, number one. And number two, then we will see that, okay, what type of Sharia requirements can be applicable, Sharia condition can be applicable. For example, if we classify this specific token as currency or mal under thaman, meaning that it's a medium of exchange, then we will try to basically come from the angle of Bay'us, for example. And then we will see that, like, what are the Sharia rulings will it have. But before even that, I will also wanted to point out that Sharia has given us a framework in muamalat, meaning Islamic law of contract or Islamic commercial law, that which says that the main basic legal maxim is that al-aslu fil ashiya'i al-ibaha hatta yadilla dalil ala tahrim, meaning that the basic ruling of things in muamalat or in commercial law or transaction is that they are halal as long as there is no textual evidence that they are haram. Meaning, what Sharia does is basically Sharia defines a circle, a prohibited area. As long as your transactions are not falling in that criteria, in that area, you are okay to go. This is basically the Sharia approach. Sharia particularly defines that prohibited area, which consists of riba, gharar, maisir, prohibited elements, and even contract specific elements also. For example, like transaction specific or specific to a nature of a commodity or a type of asset, there are some specific prohibitions as well. So all these, including that, will form basically a prohibited area. As long as it does not fall in that area, then of course, so we have to also check it that, okay, if this token falls under that area or no. I give you a very simple example that there are some projects where the main purpose was to issue a token for by a casino, and they wanted to use that token for betting activities, for wager. So because of that, we know that the purpose from the very beginning was not halal. So regardless of technology wise, it was clean, but because the purpose was wrong, so we will say that this is not halal. Just wanted to give you that example. So yeah, this is basically how we try to classify. And then there are some other features, for example, staking and yield farming, and then issuance process like whether it is based on POW or POS. We also have to check it. And if there are specific tokens, qualities and usage itself, which is objectionable from the Sharia perspective or not. There are I would say 4 or 5 processes. Only after that you can say that this token is halal. Sorry, I take a very long.
No, this is very important, doctor, and I am so thankful, because in my mind I was not clear when Sharia compliance or Sharia framework comes, what is it intangible form? So you just outlaid it very clearly. Let's see, there is a box which is probation. You have to understand, you have to make yourself educated on that box. If anything is not qualifying, right, and it falls into the box, then it's completely no. The rest of them they can follow. And of course, this space is evolving. Everybody understand it's a new territory. It's a new vehicle of investment. It's a new asset which is coming. Even the Federal Reserve in US, they are trying to understand what we are dealing with today. So it's an ever evolving space, and thank you for that. And now another question, Doctor, which is very related to what you just mentioned about the framework. So we understand we have a Islamic finance standard, which is IFE, or in Far East we have IFSB, Islamic Finance Services Board. So when I used to work for Dubai Islamic Bank, and I was managing their international business, we had a very straightforward Sharia standard IFE product structuring. Now, what we are struggling with the digital asset is that is there an IFE standard for screening such digital asset you just mentioned?
Actually, let me be very clear that this digital asset phenomena is recent. Although we say that it has been 16 years, 17 years, right, already. So why it is already old, but it's not old. If you look at the different evolutions and evolving assets, it takes some time. So this time span is very small. And what we have seen is like things in the ground, in the market have changed a lot. Like from very basic Bitcoin to what we have seen is basically soul-bound NFTs, for example. What we have seen is meme coins, for example, and recently stable coins. So like what we are seeing is basically this space has been evolving since then very rapidly. So number one is that like having a Sharia screening criteria that fits all of the tokens is very, very difficult, because even like I'm not sure tomorrow there will be a new form of token at all. And then we have to analyze it on case by case basis. But of course, so one point is basically unlike traditional securities, which are very fixed. Like if you look at a stock, you already know that like, okay, this is basically a business ratio. This will be a financial ratio. We have a very set criteria. We will analyze it and we will say, okay, now this is whether Sharia compliant or not Sharia compliant. So it's a very fixed process because the nature of the security is also fixed. But here you are left with your own imagination under the sky, anything. So a token can represent anything at all in the what you can imagine. And it can be designed according to your imagination also. Because of that, there is so much innovation there, number one. Number two is basically why there is no one fixed criteria for these type of digital assets, because of the changing regulations and legal framework. Why it is important, by the way, I mean, I am not saying that Sharia completely relies on these regulatory framework and legal framework, because a lot of people have said that, okay, no, there is no regulation, that's why it's haram. It's wrong. Why? I will tell you that Sharia has its own criteria and it does not 100% rely on regulation and legal framework, which is separate from the Sharia, it's Sharia itself, right? For example, if let's suppose in a country, drinking alcohol is allowed after a certain age, it doesn't mean that Sharia will also allow it because the legal framework says it. Okay, Sharia has its own criteria and own judgment. Number one, but Sharia in the areas and in the issues and challenges or questions where there is a need for ijtihad, where there is no direct nas, for example, from Quran and Sunnah, we don't see that like, okay, there is a textual evidence which says that like this is haram or halal, then we have to do ijtihad. And in the process of ijtihad, it relies a lot on the customary practice and urf. You understand? So for example, how I'm trying to basically create a connection between Sharia and current legal framework and regulatory framework. How it is connected is through like in those matters which need ijtihad, number one, Sharia has to look at the urf itself, customary practice. And then one of the factor, I'm again not saying that the only factor, I am saying one of the factor that can support urf is basically regulations and legal framework. What does it mean? Take an example of Bitcoin in a country where the legal framework accept it as a medium of exchange, okay, or a mode of payment. UAE is one of a very good example where you can consider that, right? Or even Japan, if you look at it, Japan, it was even like back in 2017, it was very, very popular. Like even like grocery shops, you can use Bitcoin to pay for it, okay? So that is helpful in establishing an urf and saying that now from the Sharia perspective, what we see people in urf or in customary practice, they use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. So Sharia will also consider it as a medium of exchange. But of course, there was a precondition that there was no direct nas or direct textual evidence to invalidate that customary practice. Another example is, can somebody say, okay, Sheikh, but what about interest? Because if you look at even Pakistan, interest is like a customary practice, like interest payments, loan, interest-based loan. But we have, that's why I said that there is a precondition for that that if we have a textual evidence directly invalidating it, then we will not rely on that custom. But if there is none, then we can rely on custom. And custom can be formed by the people's usage, by the people's practices, regardless of whether there is a government involved in that process or not, whether regulators are involved in that or not. So this is one thing. So once the regulators are involved, of course, like we can say it's a helping or supporting element for establishing urf. I hope that I answered the question or not. I'm not sure.
Yes.
I went too
So
far.
no,
I
no, no.
think
Go ahead, Doctor. Umar.
Uh, yes, Dr. Saab, you have sufficiently answered the question. I would just like to summarize what Dr. Saab said. And there has been some even like kind of allegations on Sharia scholars that even after so many years, they are not able to issue a standard or they are not able to issue a final thing on it. I think we need to understand the sphere and the people involved in the sphere, the tech people, those who are actually creating it, making it, or developing it, they know the speed of the development and the new, as Dr. Saab said, there are basically several layers. There is a technology layer, there is a regulatory layer, and there is a Sharia layer as well. So, because these two layers have been changing and they have not been stable since last 5 to 10 years, and the changes have been so drastic that the stability of the third layer that depends on it. So, as far as the Sharia is concerned, the core rules are concerned, as Dr. Saab explained, they are set. For example, Sharia follows, or it is a set rule. Sharia was following Urf 1,000 years ago. It is following Urf today, and it will be following Urf after 1,000 years as well. But actually, the establishment of Urf is very important. So that is why the core standards are there and they are intact, they are applicable. It is not like that Sharia has not have been able to answer the situation in any case. For example, many of the people will be giving a fatwa of ihtiyat, like don't do it right now. And so there is always an answer for the person who wants to do it or don't. But actually, so therefore fatwa is there always. And that because the layers are evolving, so the Sharia standard will evolve. And I hope in the coming years, or maybe in the coming year, we would have some kind of set standard for, like, for tokenization or for digital assets, as the other layer is going to stable, inshallah.
Thank you, Dr. Mufti Umar Saab. So I'll just move to the next question. So again, I will come from the lens of the consumer. So there are many crypto trading applications right in the world, and there are few Islamic. So when I go to few Islamic, some of Islamic applications are saying this cryptocurrency is halal, the another one is saying haram. So what is going on there? What should I do?
Okay, so I think that there is a hadith which says that اختلاف أمتي رحمة, meaning that the difference of opinions among the scholars in the Muslim nation is basically a blessing for the common people. Why? It's because it's an ijtihadi matter, meaning that like it's a very, very new phenomena, very fresh one. And because of that, they are not set rules. Even like for traditional Islamic securities like sukuk, stocks, for example, there is still an argument. After 40 years of Islamic banking, we are still arguing about those things. So what I'm saying is, like, because it was an ijtihadi matter. Now, the way I see it from a scholarly angle is that it is very, very good, because from that difference of opinion, we learn and we improve. If there is no difference of opinion, then we will stop learning, we will stop improving as well at the same time. So this is good, but it shouldn't be taken as a form, as a source of confusion. Why? Because of course, like, every scholar who is saying that, okay, whether it is halal from the like whole spectrum, on one side we have scholars saying it is completely haram, it is not even mal to all the way. Some scholars are even saying that like it is completely halal. The whole phenomena, all types of assets are halal. Okay. And then in between, there are some. I am basically the person who is in between. I am saying that like not all cryptos are halal, not all cryptos are haram. Some are halal, some are haram, some are even doubtful. Okay. And I can explain that why there are doubts and there are why there is even confusion for me to decide that okay, whether it is halal or haram, but later. But here I want to answer this question that because of that, we need to have criteria, but that criteria hasn't been proposed by IOFI, like standard setting bodies. So like it's my criteria means like I am trying to understand it. And based on my understanding of more than 10 years now, I have created a Sharia screening criteria. It can be different from another Sharia scholar who was trying to understand the whole space, but had different sources and was looking at it from a different angle. And I have met those scholars, by the way, who have a different criteria. And I have discussed with them about their own criteria and what is their logic. I respected that I was never trying to encounter them or trying to convert them to my criteria. But I discussed them, okay, what is the reason why you are saying this? I also explained that, okay, the reason why I'm saying this is because of this. Uh, so it can happen. I can give you an example of USDT very clearly. So for some scholars, USDT is not halal. Why? Because the assets behind it are interest-based. Because most of the assets are not pure cash. It's basically cash equivalents like treasury bills, okay, or other securities which are very, very liquid, but at the same time, they are interest-bearing securities. So because of that, they say USDT is not halal, okay? But for me, I was arguing with them that, okay, now if you look at the form of the USDT, what it does not automatically uh, represents the underlying assets, for example. Okay. So USDT is basically a token with whose value is basically pegged to US dollar. And to basically maintain that stability in the value, they have some reserves. Now, those reserves doesn't mean that like you are going to be directly owning, owning those underlying assets. Meaning, when I hold USDT, I am not holding part of the treasury bill, which was in the reserve. I'm not basically holding and directly owning those, what do I call it? Owning those reserves, right? So when I'm not owning them, then there is an indirect relationship. And because of that, we can consider that, okay, whether USDT is halal or haram. And I can see that like if other scholars are saying it is haram, then they also have some basis. I'm not saying it's completely baseless, but they have some basis because they are thinking that like you might be indirectly connected with the reserves, which are not. Majority of them are treasury bills, interest-based securities, etc. So there are so many different scholars trying to help Ummah in their own way, with ikhlas and with honesty, and they have come to different conclusion. But I think that like this is good because and with each and every phenomena, it always happens in particularly in ijtihadi matter. But only standard setting bodies, they can come in later. They can also standardize things. Even then, there will be some room for disagreement.
Totally, totally. Dr. Mufti, any feedback before I go to my next question?
No.
Okay. And this is a very important fact, right? In US, Alhamdulillah, we were one of the participant in the workshop in DC where the Clarity Act and the Genius Act being discussed. And as you are well aware, Dr. Farsa and Mufti Umar Sahab, that there's a fight happening where bank is pushing USDC, which is again a US backed stable coin that you cannot give yields. So they are fighting. So I think if I am not consuming any yields, then I should be okay because I can carry a US dollar or I can carry a USDC. For me, it's same. Now, the question becomes that tomorrow, if the US government approves that a USDC holder can gain interest, that's a different story. So thank you for that. I will inshallah go to the next one. As a crypto consumer, what are the red flags I should look into any digital asset to mark that
Mhm.
they are not halal, right?
Okay.
And if there's any, I'm not sure, then what should I do? Let me
Okay.
put this one.
Uh, I will just first touch upon the last question's answer. I think that like, okay, the difference of opinion is there. What you need to do. I mean, maybe like you can ask that, okay, there is a difference of opinion. It is also a blessing on Ummah, but what should we are left or what we are left with as a user? So the user, they can follow a particular Sharia scholar whom they trust that, okay, his understanding and his expertise are okay or like reliable and in that specific area. So I mean, all just like doctors, medical doctors we have, which are who are specialized particularly in a specific field, muftis are also like that. Some muftis, they are specialized in this particular field, some of them are in different field, etc. So I think that like what we need to do is like common people, they have to basically follow for a particular question or particular field, a particular Sharia scholar as well. This is very, very important. Number one. Now, coming back to your question that what we are going to do with those tokens where maybe there is a red flag or not, how do we know about it? So first of all, we need to understand that being Sharia compliant doesn't mean that there is a profit guaranteed or there is a success guarantee. Sharia compliant businesses can fail as well. So this is very, very business failure doesn't mean that it was haram or this was not Sharia compliant. This is very important because a lot of people take Sharia compliance as a guarantee of success. When I say, for example, that, okay, this crypto project is Sharia compliant, it doesn't mean that it's a success, it's going to be a success. And you can just close your eyes, put all your money, all your savings into that, and then just wait. No, it is wrong. Sharia compliance is a very technical, I mean, like a procedure, and it basically endorse things that, okay, now they are from the very Sharia perspective are okay. But it can happen that because of the uh, wrong idea, or maybe because of the like non-commercial or non-viable idea, the project can fail. Or maybe the team behind it is not so capable of carrying that project to the success, and it can fail. So basically, if you want to see at a project, first of all, of course, like you have to check that, okay, whether it is Sharia compliant or not, right? Number two is that you have to do the fundamental analysis, technical analysis. You have to ask some other questions that, okay, how many wallet holders are there? How many addresses are there? Is this project viable or not from the idea perspective? Is it solving an actual problem or not, for example? Or let's suppose that, okay, the team behind it is capable or not. They are well recognized people, they are trustable people or not. Even, okay, I do understand that for so many DeFi projects, there was a trend of anonymity because of Satoshi Nakamoto, because he was anonymous. So like a lot of projects say, okay, now the team is anonymous, no problem. But if the team is not, if the team is anonymous, it's not a Sharia problem. But you have to check that if the team is anonymous, that the 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 project has to be more transparent than any other project, just like Bitcoin. So like you can audit it, like you can audit it, a smart contract, you can see through it, even like there is what is behind it, what is in front of it. So like Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto is not there, we don't know it, the team is anonymous, but at the same time, the project itself is very, very transparent. But then we have to ask that, okay, whether a project is there and then the team is anonymous or not. Now, another thing is like risk appetite of your own self. Sometimes some people can take risk. Some people they want to have a balanced approach. Sometimes people are risk averse. So you have to also look at yourself that, okay, why you are investing or using a particular project or Bitcoin, a crypto asset, why you are using it. So you have to ask your question first, that whether you want to be aggressive, whether you do not want to be aggressive, and your nature, what does it say about it? So there are so many things which we need to basically look at. For example, like just to sum it up, is basically team, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, Sharia compliance, and legal and regulatory frame also is very, very important. Whether, let's suppose that a project is domiciled in a jurisdiction where it is already banned. So then even all the things are there, but because of the regulations are not there, and it is sort of like banned or illegal, you cannot have that project, and this will be not successful.
Thank you, Dr. Farooq Sahab. I think just one clarity. This is not a fatwa. This is not a legal advice. This is not an investment advice, but it's for your own education and awareness. So I think you raise a very important point. Like when in industry, I'm talking to many people, like here in Canada and US also. Whenever I travel, like people ask me, can I invest in XRP? There is a Liberty Finance data center backed token. Can I invest? I think the first fundamental question for us in Islamic finance is that Sharia is an additional risk layer. It's not investment advice. You're absolutely right. People get into pitfall is if it is halal, then I should just close my eyes and just invest. Because there's some of the people I've seen that, okay, Fahad, Bitcoin is the only place I can invest, so I will go ahead and invest. Or, I will invest here. It's just because it's halal and I will just not invest in other. That's fine. But we need to have a lens of at least have a habit of reading, downloading the white paper. Absolutely 100% right. What is the team behind it? Maybe, there's a shady guy like me sitting behind it, creating a token from the thin air. And we have seen it. In Canada also, with all the heavy regulation, there are people who have does a misconduct and they were like gone overnight. So I think at least that sort of understanding we should have before we even go and then look for the halal. I think first is that, okay, let's try to understand what we are dealing with, right? Example, a token like an XRP, and again, this is not, I don't know whether XRP is halal or not, but I'm just giving an example. If you study XRP, we understand XRP has a very sustainable business case of remittance, and they have already tied up with so many institutions. So at least there is some credibility, and then I know the team, and I can ask Dr. Farooq Habib Sahab or Mufti Umar Sahab that should I invest? Is it halal or not? And then they will come and they will say, yeah, this is our assessment. I think that should be the habit of everybody, I would say. Thank you for that. So I will just move to the next one. While I'm going to ask another question, I see a couple of questions loaded. So folks, please add your question on the Q&A. We already have two questions coming up, and then we'll inshallah conclude and get those questions on. Um, so I will just go to the staking side. Is crypto staking halal? Number one. And I think this is the area where still, like Dr. Farooq Saab, you absolutely gave a very good answer that, okay, there is a probation box. So at the moment anything falls into that probation, like or probatory space of Islamic finance, whether it's regulated or not regulated, I don't care, it's haram, right? But when it comes to staking, it's like a muddy thing for me. So can you just explain like what is it taking halal, and if so, then why?
Okay. First of all, staking terminology has been very flexibly and loosely used in the crypto space. Number one. So we have to also understand that what is it's staking itself and where it has been used or misused, basically, this terminology. So generally we say that like staking means like locking your tokens into a smart contract. This is a very, very basic definition, that you lock your tokens into a smart contract for a certain period, or even there is no defined period, but you just lock it. You lock your assets, and then after some time, you just unlock them. So this is called staking. But now, although like it is, if you ask about it, I cannot give you an answer about whether it is halal or haram or doubtful. So we have to look at, so what I can say generally is basically it is possible to have halal staking, number one. And I will tell you another one example where I am still working with a project where we, alhamdulillah, we were able to do halal staking of Ethereum and Solana. Okay, but how we did it is a different thing. But it is possible. Number one, that halal staking is possible, but not every staking is halal. Number one, this is the point. Number two point is, if we are talking about proof of stake blockchain, where the transactions are being validated through POS, consensus algorithm, like proof of stake, then what we need to do is, like, first, we have to analyze that layer one or layer two blockchain, that why it was there, and the token itself, if it is halal, if there is any other prohibited element there or not. And then we will see that, like, what is the procedure of staking itself and what it is required. If the procedure also is clean from the all prohibited elements, then we can say this staking is halal. Now, I give you the example, which actually we have successfully implemented. So Ethereum staking is it's a proof of stake blockchain, and it basically being used to keep the network secured and to validate the transaction. The only thing, the problematic thing is, of course, like, there are some other parameters, but the main problem was the transactions are basically combined together, right? And you cannot separate them from halal transaction and haram transactions, right? So if you cannot do that, then of course, like, it's a mixed type of activity where halal transactions are there, haram transactions are there, and you are validating those transactions through staking. So your rewards from the POS blockchain will be mixed. So what we did is basically we created a filter where we were able to exclude haram transactions. And then we were able to do only halal transactions validation on Ethereum. And because of that, that part of the staking is halal. But of course, like, there are some other elements as well. For example, like contractual agreements, like how you are going to stake, basically, what would be the Sharia legal contract there, for example. So we also did that, but that was the main problem there. Then we come to the non-proof of stake staking, for example. So like when you say, okay, you lock your tokens into somewhere and then you start getting rewards, then there will be so many other questions that, okay, first of all, when you do this deposit, what is the Sharia nature of this deposit? Is it a loan? Is it a safekeeping? Or is it just an activity? What is the implication of that activity? Where are the rewards coming from, for example? How they are generated and how they are distributed, for example. So all these questions then come in on the non-proof of stake type of staking. And we can still do a halal staking, but you have to be very careful. With one of my previous project, I was able to do a non-POS halal staking as well. So what we did is basically we aligned all the Sharia contracts like on Juala basis. Juala means like a reward system. So like you have to act something. I mean, like you have to do something, and then there is a reward against it. It's not just the activity of locking your tokens, but there were some other activities going on. And when people compete with each other on achieving those goals and achieve or tasks, only then certain tokens were unlocked. So in that sense, we were able to do that. So I think that in a nutshell, what I can say is not every type of staking is halal, not every type of staking is haram. And then the major two division in staking is basically POS staking and on a blockchain, or non-POS staking. And then we have to there are different parameters to look at before we decide that whether staking is halal or haram.
Okay. So basically, if I want to do a staking application, what I need to make sure that my underlying blockchain is kind of not going to mess with my staking application, right? And in that is staking application I create an ecosystem which is based on Islamic principle. I think that's something where we can start. Thank you, doctor, for that. Now the second question I have is a very interesting one, and I get it every day. Some people are after me why I say that. Is about day trading. So being a Muslim, is day trading crypto is just like a form of gambling if I'm just selling and buying every day?
Okay, I think that we have to differentiate between um, some online platforms also, because but before that, like, okay, let's talk about day trading and then I will go into that.
Yeah.
So day trading is a form where you very quickly can convert assets into money and then money into assets again, right? So if the underlying assets are halal, and the way of trading, like for example, a spot trade, if you are doing a spot trading is halal, then there is no problem with it. But then I have to unpack all these two sentences. One is underlying assets are halal. So I think that we have already covered that. But the way of trading is halal means that, for example, uh, like I said before in the beginning, that how a sale is defined is basically mubadalatul mali bil mal, meaning that the exchange of mal with mal on the spot basis or credit basis also. But we are here in this context, it's about spot. So it has to be on the spot and you have to take the ownership. For example, Fahad is there and he wants to buy Bitcoin from me. So I have one Bitcoin with me right now, and Fahad has $60,000 with him, USDT, let's suppose. And he says that, Dr. Farooq, I want to buy one Bitcoin from you. And then we lock in a trade, and immediately I transfer the one Bitcoin to his wallet, and I take the price, which is USDT, immediately on the spot. This trade is halal in the sense that it has been done on the spot. Both the underlying assets were halal, and both the parties have taken the possession also in the same contract, in the same session. For example, like I have taken the possession of the 60,000 USDT, and Fahad has taken the possession of one Bitcoin because they arrived in his wallet, right? So immediately after this transaction, because he has already completed his ownership, he has completed his possession. If he sees that, okay, now Bitcoin has gone just after the transaction to $65,000 and he immediately sells this, there is no problem. So Sharia does not say that, okay, no, you need to hold this for a specific time period first before you sell it again in the market. But Sharia actually applies this condition that there has to be a complete ownership and there has to be a complete possession first. You cannot sell it before you take the possession. Let's suppose for some reason there was a network congestion, and because of that, the Bitcoin is taking some time to arrive into your wallet. Let's suppose after 10 years, not 10 years, after 10 minutes, it will arrive in your wallet. But you say, okay, now after 5 minutes, you are waiting for the Bitcoin to arrive in your wallet. You say, okay, you know what, Dr. Farooq has already sent it. He has already confirmed it. It will arrive in my wallet, right? So I see that, okay, now there is a profit I can make, I am just going to sell it. You cannot do that until this will arrive in your wallet. So this is day trading. I mean, it is allowed, but with conditions, number one. And the condition is basically you have to take the ownership and possession of the underlying asset before you start another transaction. Okay. But there is a very big trap for online platforms. Now, you can do, for example, like this kind of Bitcoin trading, you can do, for example, on exchanges or in through non-custodial wallets, for example, like wallet to wallet, P2P, I can do directly. But what you have to ensure that like you actually have that Bitcoin before you sell it. There are so many online platforms which say that they have Islamic account, number one, And they also say we offer stocks, we offer commodities, we offer crypto also, right? I don't want to name them, but I know them by their name as well. That, okay, these are the big platforms. They say have Islamic account and you can trade on our platform, cryptocurrencies, commodities, and stocks as well, and other forms. But they don't have the actual underlying asset with them. What they do is like they trade in CFDs, contracts for difference. So because of that, we need to understand when there is no underlying asset, there is no sale to happen. So Sharia does not recognize it. And because of that, you cannot do the trading. So in a nutshell, if you are using a platform which can ensure that you will actually have the underlying asset, and the underlying asset is halal, your trade is halal, the way you are trading is halal, and you fulfilling all the requirement, it is concluded with the possession and with ownership transfer completely, then there is no issue with the Sharia saying that you need to hold that asset for a certain period of time. But in stocks, by the way, day trading is not allowed because of the same reason. But again, stocks, I think that I will just leave it with you with this sentence, that in stocks, they take some time to be registered under your name. The complete ownership transfer does not happen immediately. Because of that, you have to wait. You cannot do day trading in stocks. But then coming back to crypto, it is possible that within minutes, if not seconds, you can get the possession of the underlying asset. And because of that, day trading is possible. Like it can be halal, possibly in crypto.
Thank you, Dr. Farooq. And coincidentally, I've been reached out by one of the platform, and they were asking me to activate the gold token, like gold tokenization. And the first question I asked that, where is your bullion gold line? Like, is there any? And then I haven't heard back. I wanted them to
Yeah, it
prove it.
happens.
And see, Dr. Farooq Saab, I think you have done a very great job today. That you have explained it so simple that this simple question can basically trigger a red flag for me. It's very simple. Before I go into the complexity of Sharia compliance and whatnot, if I even ask a simple question, it gives me understanding where I'm heading. So I will just go for the next question. And Fazaman, keep your hand raised. Anybody who wants to answer question, just couple of questions, and then inshallah we'll couple of minutes, and then we'll take question, and we'll extend it for next 10 minutes with the permission of Dr. Farooq and Mufti Umar Saab. So, Dr. Saab, we kind of discuss the crypto assets or digital asset-backed token, security token. We have discussed staking. Meme coin, we haven't discussed. And my daughters, they like to invest in meme coins, but I'm stopping them. I don't know. So are meme coins even halal?
Okay. Theoretically, it is possible to create a halal meme coin, but practically, I have not seen, major projects for halal meme coins. This is what I want to say. What does it mean is that if you particularly ask me about a meme coin specifically, I will have to ask from the Sharia perspective that whether this asset has a real utility or not. Okay. If it does not have any real utility, and it is just because of the trending, because of the social media, because just people like it, not because this meme coin is actually providing some utility, but because that like after like maybe like 5 minutes, I will be able to sell it for profit. So even like I know that like meme coins are so fast, like some projects, they actually approached me for having a pure halal meme coin project. Theoretically, it is possible, but then when I saw the practical challenges, I haven't seen any project as halal in meme coin. Now, two things. One is like they were saying that, okay, Sheikh Mufti Saab, you need to understand that the market is very fast for meme coin. So within
Yeah.
seconds, you need to tell me that whether it is halal or not, like within 30-second window, because then I will buy it and then immediately maybe like I will be able to sell it after 1 minute or 2 minutes only. So 30 seconds you can take to have a Sharia decision on it, and then I will have 1.5 minutes to sell it. It was that fast. So I say, no, I cannot do that because I have to basically look at the meme coin itself and whether there is a utility or not. I haven't seen any good meme coin where there was a very good utility. But then there was another project. They say, okay, we can create some utility for it, but the issuance of meme coin is so fast that you cannot have a pre-filter for meme coins. Now, you also need to understand that it's not only about technology, but also about the content. The content cannot be non-Sharia compliant. For example, even in Islam, I cannot mock somebody, whether even like if you hate that person, right? But you cannot have a meme coin mocking that person. You cannot insult that person. Even like you cannot have um, meme coins related to religion, somebody else's religion, for example. So although like it may be out of respect, but it is not Sharia compliant, right? So this is one thing. So like you have to actually look at the content of that meme coin as well, and you have to pre-filter it. You cannot say, okay, now the meme coin has been issued, it has been traded, and after that we say that, okay, now it was halal or haram. So we have to do, then they say, okay, Mufti Sahib, we cannot do that. So they did not come back again because I say there has to be a pre-filter for it. So in short, what I will say, theoretically, it is possible to have a halal meme coin, but practically I haven't seen any project which is halal.
Awesome. Jazakallah
So
for
I
that.
stay away from it because there is no real utility.
So I said it the right way, but I should have asked you. The protocol is that I should ask you before I tell my daughter, but second question are related to it. I'll just go quickly. Are airdrops halal? Because I see those Telegram messages and sounds like it's a free money. I'm not doing anything.
Two things three, I would say we have to check. Number one, the token which you are getting as a result of airdrop, it should be halal, number one. Number two, the activity they are asking you to do, maybe a task or maybe a challenge or maybe just holding some one coin, and you hold token A and you get token B, but the token A holding that token should be halal as well, for example. So the activity they are asking you should be halal as well. So this is like airdrop. It's and then the third thing is about activity, airdrop itself, and also the mechanism you are going to get hold of the airdrop as well. Number three, and whether this project itself is going to be, for example, the future utility of that airdrop token should be halal as well. So these are the three things you have to take care. If you see that, okay, these are all three things are halal, then airdrop is halal, no problem.
Thank you, Dr. I have so many questions to ask you, uh, but I think we have covered a lot of things, and I think we have already three questions coming in. So, with your permission, I'll go for the first. Um, the brother Habibur Rahman asked a very good question. Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Dr. Farooq and Dr. Umar Sahab. I would like to ask about the integration of smart contract in Islamic finance. To integrate the smart contract in Islamic finance, what should be the principle and parameters need to be followed from Sharia and legal perspective? So basically, I think brother's question is that I want to do a Sharia compliant smart contract. How can I integrate those example IFP standard into those smart contracts?
So what you have is already, there are so many books written on Islamic commercial law or Islamic law of contract. And we also have standards like IOF standards, IIFM standards. They have templates also for certain contracts. For example, Murabaha contract, Istisna contract. So they have templates already built for this. So what you need to do is, like, if you want to have a smart contract, let's support for Istisna, which is a manufacturing contract, a halal manufacturing contract. You need to only just codify it properly and get it reviewed by Mufti Umar Sahab or another Sharia scholar, so that like when they endorse it, then you can use this. So that smart contract has to be Sharia audited as well. So there are two things. One is you can take any already endorsed or used Islamic contract, whether it is murabaha, mudaraba, musharaka, you can codify it and then get it endorsed by a qualified mufti, and then you can use it. So that is basically the simple process. So
And
I
I
mean,
want
for
to,
smart contracts, there is no separate rules and principles, Sharia principles, that okay, if you are using a smart contract, then you have to do this. As long as you properly codify the actual Sharia contract, then there is no problem.
Brother Father, I have a question from Mufti Sahab, from Dr. Sahab. Are there any smart contract templates available? They are available in wordings, but are they available like in codings as well by someone, or issued by someone, like they can just being copied from that place to the coding, complete code of the system?
So smart contracts are just piece of codes, and these contracts are not even contracts. They are just algorithms. They are just programming logic. That okay, when A happens, do B. That's it.
If
So
then.
if then else type of logic is there. So like something happens, there is a trigger event, and then what you need to do after that trigger event, you execute this. This is the only smart contract does this. Whether it is a musharaka, right? Whether it is a murabaha, so you have to define it, and whether the conditions are being coded properly is that. But so it's a form of contract. You cannot review the smart contract like a murabaha contract, for example. Even like if it is based on murabaha, the smart contract, it will not be written in the murabaha wording. It will be just programming logic. For example, A happens, and then after that, the B is being executed. That's it.
Basically, it's a process flow, and I think it should be audited every time when it is coded, because every software engineer may write it in maybe in his own language, but it has to be audited every time whenever he's going to change even a piece of it.
So like a yes, Sharia, just like security audit. So we do security audit for a smart contract. So we can do a Sharia audit of a smart contract as well.
and I'll give you an example of Mabrook. So in Mabrook, we have a standard. We follow ERC 3643. So even though we downloaded all the ready-made smart contract to follow that standard, we have to showcase Sharia, how it works on the interface itself and the process itself, and whether the security token was inside the wallet the moment transaction was done, right? So we have to do the complete round or this showcasing Sharia that this happened, and this is the proof of it. Otherwise, then code is a code, as Dr. Farshad said. So I hope, brother Habib Rahman, you got it. And one thing I want to explain, and I've seen it as a practice, a lot of fintech folks, coders, they want to do halal, and really I've seen it. They have better urge and the energy to do so than me, right? I'm Islam. I was 22 years. They are far ahead in understanding and dealing with it. But the question is that sometimes they come back and they say, Fahad, I cannot afford a Sharia supervisory board. And everybody have met. I told them that, even before you start thinking about being in a startup, go and socialize this idea with a scholar. And our scholars like you are so humble that they don't ask for like a straightforward money. Give me money, they see if there's a value, they will support you, and maybe you can give them some, I don't know, some equity, or you can have some arrangement. But have a scholar on board from day
In the
one, doing it.
design.
Yes, in the design phase. Do not go far ahead and then come back, and because then it's like a demotivating to hear Fahad saying, you know what, your stuff is not halal, right? You get irritated, you get demotivated, and I think this is the big disconnect in the agency. Our scholars are very humble. Go talk to them. And if you don't, tell me, I will connect you to with our precious scholars here. All right, so I'll go to the next question from Sarfraz Sheikh. It's a big, lengthy question, but very important one. Even after recognized Sharia standard setting bodies issue rulings, such as IOP, there are often differences of opinion among scholars, which you explained, Dr. Falsaf. In such cases, should a Muslim avoid this financial instrument altogether based on the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about staying away from doubtful matter? I think you answered it, but I think it's better to reiterate this. While this is the safest approach, avoiding every issue that has scholarly disagreement could make it difficult for Muslims to participate or consume in modern economic and financial system, which may create other challenges for the Ummah. So what his brother is trying to say is that if I play safe, I'm good. But if I don't play safe and still I go with I know one mufti, maybe it has a domino effect or it's taking me to a direction which I don't know. Given this, what should an individual do? Should they rely on the ruling of credible scholars and Sharia standard setting body or avoid such instrument altogether and remain the side of the question? So, I mean, from my personal opinion, I want to answer in a different way, right? And it's my own personal opinion, and you don't have to follow it. See, as a Muslim, if we shy away from the innovation and having the fear factor of not embracing the change, that's not good. So again, you have to take a conscious decision and then do mashwara. Mashwara advice like Sheikh we have in the call, they have the ability to give us advice, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the command to do so. So I would always say
Mhm.
do not get fear factor. Ask questions, get that fear out of your heart, and then continue to seek the guidance. Sheikh, Dr. Farooq Sahab, Habib Sahab, and Mufti Umar Sahab,
I will
anybody
just
can
add,
answer.
yes, it is a valid hadith where the da'ama yurbik. So, like whatever is doubtful in your heart, then you
Yeah.
should leave it. But there are a few things. One is, first of all, if something is Sharia compliant, doesn't, and if I say, let's suppose, again, uh, Brother Fahad actually said the disclaimer that it's not a financial advice, it's not a legal advice, not a regulatory advice. It's just Sharia opinions, and they are only for educational purposes here. But let's suppose that when I say Bitcoin is halal, doesn't mean that like you must follow it now. Okay. I am not imposing. I am just saying that it is halal. If you feel that, okay, there is a need for you to use it, then of course, like you can go for it. If you don't feel it, don't do this. So it's basically about mubah, meaning that like it is permissible. Sharia compliance is about that. It doesn't mean that I am saying it is fard or wajib or even mustahab to use it. You understand? So, so yes, if you have doubts, don't do this. Or if you feel necessity to do this, for example, then before even jump into that, clear your doubts. I have seen a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people, but few people even saying, yes, I'm not sure about Bitcoin is halal or not, but I am using it. I said, why you are using it then? You don't use it. Even I told those guys that don't use it if you are have shock about it, if you have doubts about it.
Hmm.
First, clear your doubt whether you have to be decisive, whether it is haram. I don't mind. If you say it is haram, it's okay. I completely respect. If you say it is halal, only then you go for it. Otherwise, no.
And
Yes.
there's and the biggest mufti is your heart, right? But before even
Yes.
concluding something, Dr. Farooq, the practices like people like me, they don't want to get understanding of it, what I'm dealing with.
Mm,
I think this is the biggest barrier. Unless you don't know anything, how can you decide on anything? First,
mm,
understand it, ask questions, do mashwara, and then you decide and you follow what your heart tells you. So Prophet ﷺ hadith is absolutely right, no doubt about that. Before that, we have to educate ourselves as well. What are we dealing with?
If I
Not just,
add,
off the fence. And go ahead, Doctor.
if I just add to the point, and I think it was complete. The hadith said, "Dama yuri book." It means that if it basically doubtful for you, not doubtful for all the people. If you are in doubt, for example, don't impose your doubts on other people, and it is up to you. If you want to do it, and if it is doubtful for you, it is better for you not to do it. But actually, if it is doubtful for you, you consider that it is doubtful for all the people, and all the people shouldn't do it. The hadith doesn't say that. So many of the people actually impose their own doubts on other people. If you don't know about it, okay. If you want to follow a scholar, okay. If you are undoubtful, it's very good. The clarity is a ni'mat of Allah. And if you are doubtful, then leave it.
Alhamdulillah. All right. So we have Brother Irfan who wanted to ask question. Brother Irfan, can you unmute yourself, please, and ask question? Sorry for the delay there. Brother Irfan, if you are hearing us, can you unmute yourself? I'll give you a couple of seconds, inshallah. So if there are any question you can ask, I know we are 16 minutes. All right. I think he waited and then,
Uh,
okay.
are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Uh,
Go ahead, Irfan sir.
Bye. I'm from Pakistan and
MashaAllah.
practitioner. I'm working in Mizan Bank, also teacher of Fiqh Mamlat. We
MashaAllah.
have some questions about day trading. When we say, just like told by Dr. Farah Saab, the basic elements of contracts. But I have a problem that I can't guide any of the questionnaire that most of the that is there are some trustable platforms which are working on day trading so that we can guide them there.
Okay. I think that Brother Irfan has asked this question that are there any practical examples where we can guide a person who really wants to do some day trading? Again, we are not talking about day trading in general, like about commodities and stocks. We are just focusing here on day trading of cryptos. And number one is, of course, I am repeating myself, but just to make it complete answer that, okay, that crypto has to be halal first. And it has to basically fulfill all the trade or sale requirement first before we start talking about day trading. So if those two things are settled, that the underlying asset is halal, the mode of sale is also halal, all the requirements are fulfilled. If let's suppose the token is a payment token, it's a currency, then the buy or surf, like the rules of currency exchange are applied on it, only then we will move on to day trading. Now, then day trading, what we need to see is mostly if you are doing P2P, for example, you are having a non-custodial wallet like MetaMask, and Brother Fahad, let's suppose that he also has a trust wallet, and I want to send immediately a token to him directly without any intermediary, then it will be okay. Even it is day trading means that like within the same day, Brother Fahad is completing those transactions with all their requirements successfully. There is no problem how many transactions you can do. If let's suppose that he is able to do 10 transactions within that day with the same token, like buying and selling it, then selling it, buying it again, selling it again, for example. But every time when he does it, the transaction is complete and it fulfills all the Sharia requirement, then it's no problem. And so through P2P, it can be done. Number two is about like if there are exchanges, for example, Binance. So Binance is an exchange where they have 100% reserves. Again, I am not confirming that. What I am saying is like I am just taking it from the face value. So, okay, it doesn't mean that I am endorsing Binance and saying that it is all halal. No. What I'm saying is that these type of exchanges, they have normally 100% reserves, meaning, and they can allocate those reserves whenever the trading happens within their own system. So because of that, it is possible to do day trading on those platforms, like exchanges, like proper crypto exchanges, where they have 100% reserves, and then they have the system to allocate those reserves when those sales or trading happens.
Thank you, Dr. Faisal. And Zaman Saab, if you have further clarity required, inshallah, you can contact us and we can go from there. Our email is support@almabrook.io. All right. So I have got another brother, brother Adi Deji. I do apologize for not pronouncing your name correct, brother. Can you please ask the question? Jazakallah. If you want to turn on the camera, don't shy, turn on the camera, inshallah. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. I think the name is okay. And maybe I'll give you a cheat sheet. Such names from Nigeria, cut it into two. So you can call it either Deji or you call it
Adi.
either Ade. It's okay. So thank you very
Jazakallah.
much for the deep knowledge that has been shared. I've been following for the previous weeks, and I run a company in Nigeria called Convexity. Convexity is a blockchain digital asset purely company, and we work with financial institutions. We train the central bank. We do a lot of things, and the story is getting into: is this halal? Is this haram? And we're interacting with non-interest banking also, and they think we should have the knowledge to tell them what is not. So that is the reason why, of course, I began to also look at and trying to get some knowledge to be able to guide, if not professionally, but at least send them somewhere where they can be properly guided. So I think this is great. A recent one is about meme coin, right? So I have a bunch of, if you know Nigeria very well, it's divided into the north and the south, and the north is predominantly more Muslim. And we have a lot of followers there because we pioneer a company around digital asset and all that. And someone asked me, because they started launching a lot of meme coins and people are buying, some people are losing, and they were asking. So for me, from the little knowledge, I just told them it cannot be halal. I think if there's no economic activity around it, it's tantamount to gambling, I told them. But it's not authoritative. So, and some believe. So I just think, and the recent one is with an non-interest banking. We're looking for them to support us with liquidity, but they needed clarity on the kind of activity if it falls in line. So there's a lot there. So I think my question would be, how can we reach beyond this platform so we can maybe set out some alliance to assist the Muslim Ummah around here that want to go into these kind of activities. Thank you very much.
Sure, brother. And Dr. Farooq Habib and Dr. Umar would love to do so. So I'm just dropping an email here. Inshallah, if you can drop me email, I can introduce you, and we can if you want to use Mabrook, then like the word is yours. So just send an email. Inshallah, I'll do the introduction to you with Dr. Farooq and Umar. Inshallah. Okay. Awesome. I think I do apologize. I took like 23 minutes more time of Dr. Farooq Saab. I do apologize, but I think today's webinar was very, very important for everybody because we have to steer everybody to the right directions. There are so many unknowns, and I respect everybody who's doing whatever they are doing in this digital asset space. Of course, the world is not perfect, neither we will be perfect till Qiyamah, right? That's not how humans are designed to be perfect. We cannot be, but we have to make correct the right intention, positive intention, what we do. Secondly, we also try to help each other and shepherding them into the right direction, like having a serious supervisory board, having people like Dr. Farooq Habib in that, so we can get a good guidance. So with that, Farooq Habib, I would like to thank you very much for so much insightful webinar today. Of course, with that, we would have not done it. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Barakallahu feekum. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So I'm going to end the webinar.